Good morning, India, and good evening and good night in the US. Welcome and thank you once again for joining us for another fabulous introduction to AREAA Global and IFBIC as well as AREAA National. We're welcoming Esther today. She is the immediate past president for AREAA Tri-County, which is my chapter. She's born in Hong Kong and migrated in the US in the 1980s. And she graduated from USC, Marshall School of Business, with a major in finance. And that's what she is doing right now at HSBC. And in 2009, she joined HSBC as a premier mortgage consultant, which is a very important representative in the bank. She joined HSBC because she's inspired to work for a global company. And HSBC has that focus on an international network. Esther also is the, she learned about AREAA, which is AREAA National, through HSBC because HSBC was a sponsorship for our chapter. And with that in mind, she is a very good team leader with us at AREAA Tri-County. So welcome, Esther.
Thank you, Molly. Hi, everyone. Good morning and good evening in US. Good morning, everyone in India. Okay, let me introduce, Molly already introduced me. I'm Esther Chow. I personally born in Hong Kong, so I can speak Cantonese, and I also learned my Mandarin in US as well. So I'm really happy to be here today and try to introduce our niche program in HSBC Bank. First of all, I would like to share the screen real quick. Okay. I don't think I can share for some reason. Okay.
You can share your screen. You are already co-host.
Yeah, but I cannot pull my screen out for some reason. When I share screen. Okay, here we go. Can you guys see that?
Yes, we
can. You see the screen? Is it showing?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay. So actually, I just want to introduce HSBC a little bit. Okay, so hold on. Okay. So HSBC is the world's largest banking and financial service organization. So we already established since 1865. So it's over 150 years already. So we are worldwide network, covers 64 countries and territory, and with the international network of office to serve our client. So HSBC USA has wealth center in city including New York, Beverly Hills, Sacramento, Miami, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. So we can do a lot of loan in different states. And also we can help the international customer. So besides the domestic program, like the conforming loan for domestic client, our niche program will be the mortgage to the overseas investor, which is called the Foreign National Program, and also the New to Country Program. So when we talk Foreign National Program, which is the investor from another country besides the USA, and they come to US to purchase a property. So we can finance to those foreigners. They don't need to use cash to purchase property. So our program is already pretty competitive in USA, and I help a lot of foreigners to do their mortgage in USA. So they even don't need to come to US, and we can fund the loan in US. So let me give you some idea about our foreign national program. So if our foreigner would like to purchase a property in USA, we can do two programs. One is for second home and one is for investment property. If they purchase a house for a second home purpose, which is they purchase this house for vacation home, every time they come to US, they will stay in this property, that is considered a second home. Even though that is the first property they purchased in USA, we still consider that as a second home because their primary residence should be in their own country. So that is considered second home, okay? So for second home property, we can finance up to 70% of loan to, of your purchase price. So the maximum loan to value is 70%. So 70% is based on the lower of the appraisal value or the sales price. So the customer only can, minimum down payment is 30%. So how we verify the qualification from the overseas client? We will verify their overseas credit report. We have a company, the vendor credit company to verify the overseas credit. We verify the income and employment from overseas, and we verify the source of down payment and closing costs and reserve from the customer. And for the investment property, if they purchase investment property for income purpose, and we can, the minimum down payment is 40%. So the maximum loan to value is 60%. Same guideline, same qualification, which is verify the overseas credit, overseas income, employment, and also the bank statement to verify the down payment, closing costs, and reserve. And we can count the down payment if they can provide the 2-month bank statement from overseas as well. So, but one of the requirements is the HSBC require the customer to open a HSBC US account and set up auto pay from the HSBC US account. So if they already is a HSBC overseas client and they can open a US account, in this case, they can global transfer their fund from their country to US. Any questions so far?
Not yet, but that sounds really good.
Oh, okay. Okay. So how we contact the customer? Usually, we will customer, if they are interested to finance or purchase property, they will go through our website or they can go through their realtor to contact us. So we can call the customer to by phone overseas or by email. So we can have Zoom meeting with a customer as well if they request. So we will have a short conversation and try to get all the information together, and they can submit their application and all documentation by email. If they would like to open a US account and they don't have any connection in here, and we can help them to connect with our IBC International Banking Center to contact the customer to open an overseas account, which is the account in USA. So the maximum finance is up to $4 million. So basically, our international buyer can contact the HSBC for the mortgage finance. They don't really need to buy, they don't really need to use all cash to purchase property, because if for investment, you only pay for 40% down payment, you can save more fund to buy another property instead of use 100% your fund, your cash to buy one property. So that's what I education my foreign national buyer. Just try, if you have sufficient income or you have sufficient fund, please do the financing. Then you can utilize your fund to purchase more transaction, more properties. So this is our niche program. We also have one is called the new to country program, which is if the customer receive a working visa, L1 visa, like H1B, L1, E visa, R visa, or they receive a green card from USA, and once they land to US, they don't have US credit. So they don't have sufficient US credit, but we still can do the finance to those new to country customer, as long as we can verify their overseas credit, or we can still verify their income and employment to do the mortgage. So even though they have the new to country, if they got a new job in US, we can just based on the new job offering letter and also the 1 month pay stub to do the finance, do the mortgage to those new to country customer. So this is another niche program to help out those new to country customer, even though they don't have the 2-year credit history, they don't have the FICO score or credit score in US, they don't have the employment history, 2-year employment history in US, but we still can do a loan for them, then they can purchase their primary residence in USA. So that is another niche program we have in HSBC Bank. But so far in the past 13 years, I work with HSBC Bank. I work with a lot of foreigners from different countries, from Asian countries like Hong Kong, China, Taiwan, Singapore, and also we help European countries like UK, Australia. I got one from Greece, and then we also have Canada, Mexico. I got India before, and then I also have Indonesia before. So actually, we can help all the overseas clients to finance at the time they purchase a property in US. So this is my presentation today. It's pretty simple, and I'm open up for all the questions. If you have question or scenario, you can ask me.
It's Molly. How long is the process for a non-US citizen to get this loan? What is the time frame?
Right now, the time frame from the beginning to close escrow is around 45 days. So usually we can do the pre-approval for the overseas client first. So I will recommend them to provide all the income documentation, asset to pre-view, to pre-qualify first. And then if they already done the international credit report and all the verification of employment, actually we can close escrow within 30 days.
Is there a checklist that we can have, maybe, that we can share?
I don't have the checklist in here because it's basically it's pretty simple. The only difference is the employment verification. If you're a wage earner, we just need to show a bank statement to show the direct income deposit to your account, overseas bank statement. And then also we have a form to send to the HR department to fill out. The form actually just verify the higher day position, last 2-year income, current income, and also any bonus, overtime income, any ownership, and that's beyond. If you are self-employed, we would like to have a certified CPA, your accountant to verify your company ownership, the company open day, your position, last 2-year earning, and year-to-date earning as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have questions?
Hi,
Samir Kela sir is having the question. Samir sir, please.
yeah, hi. Thank you, Esther, for a nice presentation. I have 2 queries. The first one is, what is the rate of interest that HSBC is providing on the lending rate, on the lending amount? And second one, if a person is already having an HSBC account in India, so does that give any credibility for in the HSBC US for taking a loan in a speedy manner or in a quick manner? You can answer both things.
Okay, the first one, the maximum we can lend is up to the loan amount 4 million. Okay, and the interest rate is really depends on the relationship with HSBC, the loan amount, and percentage of down payment. So it's pretty much and also the occupancy. If you purchase a second home, the interest rate will be lower than purchase an investment property, and I don't have scenario right now, but the range will be in 5 to 6%. So it really depends on the relationship. Or if in investment property, it probably around in the 6% range. So if you have an account in HSBC India, we would like to see is a premier account. If you already have a premier account in India, actually you can go back to the branch and ask them that I'm ready to purchase a property in US, and they will connect you to the international banking system to open up a US account. So at this time, actually, if you are a premier customer, you have benefit for the interest rate is for the interest rate.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Christina has a question.
Esther, yeah, Molly.
Hi, I'm just curious if there's a minimum amount to the US side of banking if you had to open an account.
Okay, for the premier account, the minimum balance is $75,000 US dollar. Okay, but if you already an overseas HSBC premier customer, we will also count your balance in overseas. Okay, so for example, if you don't have $75,000 US dollar in US account, we will check and see how much balance you have in overseas after you purchase the property. But of course, we will like you to put at least $75,000 in the US account, because for foreign national, we require, as what I mentioned before, we require you to set up a auto payment from the HSBC US account. So once you set up auto payment, every month you have to pay for your mortgage payment, right? So I will highly recommend that you have balance in the US account.
Esther, hi Esther, good morning. This is Sudhir.
Hi.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Small query. If let's say for example, I am having the account in India with the HSBC, and I am having the property worth of, let's say for example, 5 million US dollar. So is it possible for HSBC to provide loan against the property?
If you have a property $500,000, is that in US? In US?
No, in India. Property will be in India.
Oh, if the property in India, we will direct you to the HSBC India, because we cannot lend overseas property. We only can lend to the US property.
Do you have any idea? Is there any difference of the rate, duration of the loans, and other terms and conditions? That will be the difference in US and India, or it will be the same?
You mean the loan, the interest rate, the loan in India?
Yes.
That one I don't know the interest rate, because different country they have different interest rate. So I can direct you, if you can send me an email, maybe I can direct you to HSBC India, and they can help you for financing as well.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Mr. Nadik has a question he would like to ask.
Sure.
Mr. Rajsekhar Nadik is having the question. His question is, without income taxpayers, is it possible to give loan?
I'm sorry, can you say one more time?
His question is, without income taxpayers, is it possible to give loan?
Without the income? You mean without the income, can we give the loan?
Yeah.
No, we can't. We need to verify the income and
Without income
employment.
tax, I
Yeah,
think she's asking,
because
without
that
the
is
tax.
the ability to, to repay the mortgage. So we definitely need to have an income and employment. Yes. Mhm.
I think the question might be without an income tax, just because India has a different system than in the US. So if he was self-employed, for example, and doesn't have the income tax to show what is required in the US, is it possible to get a loan? I think you mentioned earlier with a CPA.
Yes. Mhm. Okay. If you are self-employee, we have to verify two items. One is your business bank statement, and to verify all the deposit is that reference to your earning. Okay. The other part will be a CPA letter to verify your total earning in the last 2 years and current year. We don't need to see your tax return at all. We don't require to the customer to provide any overseas tax return.
I'm having a question. Suppose that if an organization from United States are establishing their branch in India, so do we need to have a separate Indian HSBC bank account, or a same account from the US or either from India can be operational?
Can you repeat your question one more time? I'm sorry.
I'm saying that suppose that we are having a registered company in United States, and that company started its branch in India. So they have registered themselves in India. So do we need to have a Indian HSBC bank account, or if we are having a bank account in United States, that can function in India as well?
Oh, okay. That one I need to refer you to the account opening banker, because I'm not sure about that question, but I can find out for you. I believe you probably need to have the HSBC account in India.
Okay.
If you want to transfer the fund, okay. But if you don't need to transfer fund and your company in US, you start a new branch in US and you have account in here, I think that should be sufficient. But if you want to connect both account in India and US, or maybe two branches together, I would suggest you to open account in each country so you can global transfer the fund from your business account.
Okay. See, as when we used to, have money from foreign countries, we need to provide the LOI to the banks. So if we have, bank accounts in both the countries, so in that case also we have to give the LOI, or it will be company to company transfer from one country to another country.
Okay, but that will be but are you going to use that account to purchase a property, or you're talking about something different?
Yeah, we are talking about purchasing a property, or it is something like having a current bank account in the bank. So it can be used for multiple things.
What do you mean is you have account in the bank in India?
Yeah, we have account in India as well as we have account in United States. So my question is that, so can it be operational from both the countries on the similar way? So do we need to provide the letter of intent or, other documents to clear the, transaction?
Oh, okay. So for purchase the property, okay, we only verify whatever fund you are available to purchase that property, okay? So for example, you have fund in USA, okay, and you don't have sufficient fund in USA to put this down payment and closing costs and reserve, okay? We can count the overseas account in India or in other country, as long as you can provide 2-month bank statement. So before you close your transaction, we require the initial deposit, which is after you have the accept offer, you have to put 3% down for initial deposit. Those initial deposit and the final closing fund must from the US account to the closing agent. So we can verify all the fund in overseas and US but as long as you can transfer the fund into US account in order to pay the 3% initial deposit and down payment and closing.
Okay.
So even if they have an account overseas and they have another account in the US, when they purchase a home, they must transfer it from their account from overseas to their account in the US before
To the
purchasing?
US account. Yes.
They can't just withdraw
requirement.
from the US?
Oh, they can, if they have sufficient fund in the US account, they can use the US account to pay the initial deposit or down payment. But if they don't have sufficient fund in the US account and they need to use the overseas fund for this purchase, they have to wire the fund to the US account and pay for the deposit and the closing fund.
And one more important question I am having, when we, deposit international funds, we have to pay the additional charges for transferring the funds. So will it be applicable on HSBC Bank too? So if we have account in both the countries, so we have to pay the additional charges as well, or it will be waived off?
Okay, if you have a HSBC Premier account in overseas, okay, and after you open the HSBC US Premier account, so once you Premier in one country, you will Premier for all the country, okay? So let's example, you're Premier in India, okay, already you have the Premier account. So the bank in India can direct you to open the US account, okay? So you have US Premier account and you have India Premier account. So once you set up, you can set up online banking, okay? And link all the account together. Okay, the only good advantage to open an HSBC Premier account because you can global transfer your fund from one country to another country without any fee. And that will be right away. It's just, you transfer from one country to another country, you can see the balance right away. It won't wait for 1 or 2 days or 1 week to see the balance. So it's really quick. It's really efficient. But as long as you set up the online banking, you can link to all the HSBC account worldwide, so you can manage your account online.
Esther, I am having a question.
Yes.
Is HSBC is having the facility to provide business loan, or you can say project finance, and second is trade finance. Is these facilities available with HSBC?
You're talking about we finance the property?
No.
Or
no. I'm not talking about the property. I'm talking about project finance and trade finance.
Oh, okay. That part, the corporate finance, you mean? We have different department to handle that. That is under the HSBC commercial banking. Yeah, but if you're interested for those information, yeah, just email me. I can direct you to the commercial banking officer as well.
Okay, and one more thing. Let's say, for example, any client is having not, as of now, not an account with HSBC. Would they entertain for the business loan or project finance?
Can you repeat the if you don't have account with HSBC and oh, okay. For you're talking about the foreign national mortgage, right? Or yes, you're talking about the yeah. For this program, we require to open the HSBC Premier account.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one of the requirements.
Okay, so as a lender, they can work out without bank also, without bank account also.
No, we need to have a relationship before we do this program. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we require to open an HSBC US account and set up auto pay for the foreign national program.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think Mr. Nadik has another question, and
Yes. Shall I ask, Umali?
yes, please. Yes.
Hi, Isher. This is my question is in India, related to India, it is what is the smallest amount you can finance? That is one thing. And second, now 2 years COVID is there, income will be almost very less. It is how you consider this. And third is against property. Suppose already existing building is there, against building of that property, can you give finance or something? 3 questions I put on one. Thank you very much.
So the first question is, Molly, can you repeat the
Yes.
question?
So the first question he's asking, what is the amount that you can lend to him for the property, to buy a property in India? And what is the amount?
Oh, we cannot finance overseas property. We have to direct you to the HSBC India. So at this moment, I cannot answer this question. Yeah, because I'm mainly doing the property in US. Yeah, the mortgage, the foreign national program is mainly for the US property only.
And then the second question that he had mentioned that through the COVID time, they have less income. So against an old property or an existing property that he already has, can you loan in India? So that's the same question.
Yeah, that is the same question. I will direct you to the HSBC India because our program only loan the property in US. So yeah, just email me. I can direct you to the branch in India to answer this question.
Yeah, it will be
Thank you.
very helpful. It will be very helpful. So if we get connected with the HSBC India, I think, whatever queries our Indians are having, it can be solved to them. So thank you for that.
Okay.
And we will be interested in connecting with them.
Okay, sure.
Ajay Ramakrishna sir is having a question. Sir, please ask your question.
Esther, firstly, thank you for a beautiful presentation, and I definitely learned a lot.
Thank you.
I have a small query. This is regarding the interest rates.
Hmm.
Let's say I have to buy a property. It doesn't matter where it is. Now, what I can see from your presentation, there are 2-3 ways of going about it. One is you do it organically from the country or the place you're in through the local branch, right? The other way which comes to my mind is that we get somebody to purchase it from a different country, just for discussion. So is there a difference in interest rates? And how much would the difference be?
The interest rate to purchase the property in US, you mean?
Okay, let's say you have a property in the US. Now I have 2 options of purchasing it. One is I purchase it outright in the US through a HSBC account in the US. That's one option. The second option is that I get it purchased by an entity outside the US.
Oh, okay.
Is there going to be a difference in interest rates? Is the US interested in getting this investment into their country? And what is the facilitation being provided for that?
Yeah, it will be different program, different interest rate, different qualification, because each country, they have different guideline and different regulation. So what I can answer you is if you buy a property in US, and this is our guideline. But if you buy property in UK or India, they have different guideline because different country, they have different requirement. So that's why I cannot answer you if you purchase property besides the US, what is the interest rate, because I have no idea. But I know that sometimes I talk to some of my clients in Hong Kong, and they told me in Hong Kong, the interest rate is pretty low. Actually, it's below 2%. In UK, I believe it's around 2 also, because some client told me that UK is pretty low as well. Yeah, so different country, they have different interest rate and requirement.
May I add to that question? I believe the question that you have with the interest rate, it's not because of it's an LLC or a corporation that purchased or an individual that purchased that has a different interest rate. It's what you're using it for. If it's for rental, for investment, the interest is higher. If it's for your friends and families to live in, it's called owner occupied and the interest is much lower.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so our interest rate is actually based on the relationship with HSBC Bank, the percentage of down payment. So if you have 30% down or you have 40% down, that will be a little bit different interest rate. And also we're looking for the finance loan amount as well. So for foreign national program, the more you finance, the lower the interest rate. Yeah, so if you have lower loan amount, the interest rate will be a little bit higher as well. And of course, like Molly said, investment will be a little bit higher as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome.
Anyone else have questions for Esther?
What's the, I have one. What's the tenure of loan that you provide to the foreign nationals?
You mean the program? Yes, good question. Okay. We have all 30-year fixed program, and we also have short-term fixed program, which is a 5-6, 7-6, 10-6 ARM. Okay. So this ARM program is the first 5 year, first 7 year, first 10 year, is fixed rate. And after those fixed period, it will become adjustable based on the SOFR index, SOFR index, plus the margin 3%. And every 6 months, the interest will adjust. Okay. So we have different program. And we also have an interest-only program. So if the customer doesn't want to pay principal payment, they can select the interest-only payment as well.
So what's the difference in the interest rate as such?
Interest rate is different. I can give you some idea. I just have one client that she already purchased a property in US a couple of years ago, and she ran it out. That is definitely an investment property. And right now she would like to, at the time she bought it, she has a mortgage, but she paid off her mortgage last year. So this year she would like to cash back some money from the property. So we are doing the cash out refinancing. So it's not only purchase, we can do refinancing as well. So she looking for cash out maybe $500,000, $600,000 back from her property. So we just verify her income in overseas, credit in overseas, bank statement for the reserve requirement. And her interest rate, he's looking for 10-6 interest only, and it's around 5.9%. Yeah, that is the cash out refinance 10-6 with interest only program. Now, what I'm talking about cash out refinance is in the US, if you refinance, the rate is a little bit higher than purchase. But if you cash out refinance, the rate will be a little bit high as well. But we have one more niche program is if the customer is purchase a house in cash, okay, they don't want to, they at the beginning, they just, oh, I have money, I want to bid for this house, I want to use all my cash to buy for this property first, okay? As long as you come back within 6 months of closing escrow, we can refinance back your money. And same as like like second home is 70% and investment is 60% within 6 months at the time you close escrow. So let's say I purchased a property in cash in January 1st, okay? So within 6 months, which is in June, you have to submit your application and request to reimburse, to refinance and reimburse the money back. That is called a refinance. If you after 6 months and you come back to do the refinance, that will be called the cash out refinance. The interest rate will be a little bit higher.
Okay. So is there any prepayment if I want to do prepayment in a property in a loan again in US? Is there any is it possible first of all? And if a person wants to foreclose it, is there any charges for that?
What was the first question again? If the
First question is if there is say a person has taken a $2 million loan, right? If he prepays it, say partially prepays it, say a partial amount. So is it allowed to pay partial amount apart from
Yes.
The interest
Yes.
and all?
It's allowed. All the program has no prepayment penalty, so you can pay down your principal anytime, or you can
Okay.
pay off your loan anytime. Yeah, it doesn't have any prepayment penalty.
Okay.
And your second question?
Same, covered.
Oh, you're the same. Yeah. So you can pay down and pay off your loan anytime. All our program has no prepayment penalty.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
I think we are done with the question, Molly.
Thank you. If that's the case, I would like to ask Christina to close our presentation tonight.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Esther Chow from HSBC, for joining us tonight. Thank you all also for your excellent questions. We had a lot of questions tonight, so that means people were engaged and interested in what you had to say, Esther. This is always the sign. Just to sum up a few basic points are that international buyers can use HSBC to finance up to 75%, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, with a down payment of 40%, and it depends, but up to 4 million. There are other ways of being able to get this financing aside from having employment or income in the US. And aside from having US credit, there are other ways that you can prove your assets and your worth for getting a loan. And premier customers in their own country can come here and that relationship can continue on the US side. We prefer a $75,000 balance, right, for this type of a loan. So for those of you overseas, this is a great option as HSBC, but as always, we want a local expert to be guiding us in what the steps are. So we're very grateful to Esther for coming tonight and sharing her knowledge with us. And we know that we can ask her any questions in the future. So thank you for joining IFBIC tonight, Esther.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to join you guys tonight. So let me know if you have any question, you have any customer or your friends and family member would like to purchase a property in US and you are not sure that they can finance or not. Feel free to contact me. I can chat with you and your client or your relative friends and try to help them to finance.
I
Thank
have a
you.
last minute question.
Okay.
So since we're in California, what if someone in India wants to buy a home in, let's say, New York? Can they get an HSBC loan from you instead of going to a New York agent?
Yes, they can. I have customer
thank you.
purchase New York, Florida, Texas, everywhere. Tennessee, yes, all the state. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, with that in mind, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for attending. We enjoy our presentation, and Esther is a fantastic leader and a fantastic lender for many, many
Thank
years.
you.
So she's very devoted.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.